You know, as a content creator, you always want to try to improve your video quality, especially on YouTube where it's very competitive. Now, a lot of people nowadays are using all the latest tech gear out there, the best lenses out there. They're sharp, they look great, they're awesome. But if you want some character to your video, sometimes it's worth investigating into some vintage lenses or cinema lenses. But here's the catch with that. They're not autofocus, they're manual focus. How do you work as a solo content creator like myself who shoots and edits my own content here currently? How do I work around that? You have to use a focusing system. Now, SmallRig actually sent this out to me to try. I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored for this video. My thoughts and my thoughts only. It is the MagicFiz Wireless follow focusing system. Now, this is a setup that you can actually attach to any camera. It doesn't have to be a cinema camera. I have it testing it out on a red v-raptor, which is complete overkill. I get it. But it's a friend of mine, Peter Choi, who's been on the channel here before. And I'm trying it out because I've always been interested in trying out red cameras. And so this is 8K overkill, but yeah, follow me with anyway. But I wanted to see how this works because I primarily shoot on the Nikon Z9 for most of my videos you see here. And I thought to myself, if I ever wanted to use, let's say, a vintage Nikon lens or even a vintage Leica lens, like an R lens, whatever it may be, and I want to shoot video with it and I'm by myself, can a setup like this actually help me make that possible? And the answer is yes, it can. Now, previously I did a video on the Leica SL100 to 400 video. If you haven't checked that out, please do. And that was shot on the red as well with this lens, the Canon 50mm 0.95 Dream lens. The lens that Zack Snyder used, everybody went crazy about it. It's very soft, wide open, but it's got a very interesting character to it. And then of course, the cinema crowd got into that. So they started buying them up. Prices value went up on the lenses. Yeah, now they're a few $1,000s. But this one I'm using is rehoused, designed for cinema usage. But that's what cinema guys do nowadays. They rehouse the lenses and then they keep the old parts for as and when or just souvenir. So what I've got right here is the controller to this. And this is actually controlling the focusing. So if you can see here, I'm focused. I'm out of focus. And I'm focused. Now I have the small HD monitor above here on the red v-raptor, but I also have this by Hollyland, and this is the M1 Mars. This is a wireless transmitter receiver monitor, which I have it connected to the Mars 4K that's connected to the camera. That is sending the signal from the camera here. Then I can adjust, I can see my LUTs if I want to do that. I can see focus peaking so I can get a much more closer view to make sure that I am dialed in. So that's kind of how I have this set up. Now this is a very expensive setup to do, but you don't need all of this. All you need is one monitor, a focusing system, and a lens and a camera, and you're pretty much good to go. These focusing systems here are universal. They work on any system. They are not dependent on any camera whatsoever. But I wanted to test it out to see if it was worth talking about. And I think it actually is because it's really, really quite cool. And I've been very happy with it thus far. So I'm not going to go through all the finer details of this product because there's a lot of videos out there that talk about that, because I don't go into markings and, you know, different focus ranges. I'm just talking heads, things like this, or if I'm out in the field thereabouts. But you can use this if you're shooting other people. You can have this, you can take this apart. It's very modular. I can put it to the side of the camera and I can focus that way instead of actually turning the lens this way. I can be doing it on the side of a camera. I can have this on a monitor. If someone else is using the camera, then I can pull from the monitor like you've seen on Hollywood sets. All that works in this system. I got two focusing motors here, one for the focus ring and then one for the aperture ring. Now, because as a talking head, I don't need to change apertures because I'm not going through different lighting conditions. I don't need a motor for that. So I only have a motor on the focusing ring right there, which is connected to this wirelessly, and it all syncs beautifully. In terms of powering this bad boy, you can power by two different ways, USB-C or NPF batteries. So I have an NPF battery attached to it, and the battery life on it is really, really good, to be honest with you. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I've charged everything up once. I've been testing this off for the last few weeks and I've not needed to charge it since. This grip is chargeable by USB-C. There is a battery inside of this, but you can put a, what is it? It is an LPE6 battery at the bottom here. So you can actually control the aperture here with this ring if you want to do that, or the focusing ring, however you want to choose this, and the focus here. This is independent power. So this piece actually comes off and you can put it to your side of your camera or monitor or wherever you want to put it. But I gotta say, man, these are not that cheap. I mean, the full setup that I have here is that I think is around $699 US thereabouts. So they sent me the big kit. Now you can obviously get a more basic kit with just one motor, which would be fine for most of you out there that are just doing talking head pieces like I'm doing here. And that's significantly less. You have a rod that comes inside of it, so you can actually attach it to the bottom of the camera system. You'll probably need to get a cage. So there will be some parts and pieces that you do need to pick up. Once you dial it in, you're up and running within minutes. You select the channel on the motor, on here, you sync the channels, everything syncs up, it stays the same. If the power goes out, It automatically reconnects. There is no hiccup, no issue whatsoever. And in terms of the focusing speed, it's pretty precise. To give you an idea here, I'm just kind of pulling back and now I'm just going forward. And I'm going to stop when I see it all red on the display. And there we go. And this is not a loose wheel. There's a nice tension to it, but it's very smooth. So if you want to rack focus, if you're shooting on set, whatever and you want to have that nice pull back and forth, you can do that. So even let's say I'm shooting a product, for example, and I wanted to rack from one product to the other. Now, usually with an autofocusing lens, you have to tap it there and then tap somewhere else, and it can be a little bit of a jitter focusing back and forth, back and forth. But with this, I can get that nice, gradual autofocus and in focus shot. Now, of course, I'm looking at the small HD monitor here. I can look here and do that as well. So there's that and that. And by the way, this Hollyland Mars M1 4K setup is actually pretty good as well, I have to say. Very impressed by it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this SmallRig MagicFiz Wireless setup. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is something you're looking to pick up, any questions you have. Again, I haven't touched on everything this thing can do because I haven't dived that deep into it. But for my needs, for this, and to try out some really cool looks, I'm definitely on board. Subscribe to the channel definitely helps me out a lot here. I'm trying to grow the channel. More subscribers means more opportunity to review some really awesome gear for you guys. So hit that like button, subscribe, and I will chat to you very soon. Take care.